You want to be careful not to pinch the O-rings. And there's no need to over tighten this, just snug fit should prevent it from leaking. It's your option whether if you want to get some screws to secure the support panel to the cabinet, but again, it won't affect the performance of the machine. It's more just for aesthetics. Once the carbon's in, the fill plug's tightened down, we can start to reassemble the valve. So I'd start with the drive end cap. You want to put the small O-ring.
See that? I'll put it out there again. Okay.
On the brine valve nipple, and the large O-ring will go over the drive piston and insert into the groove for the O-ring. Then again, this will be a fairly snug fit, so a little bit of force may be required, but it should pop right in and slide right into the cavities. At this point, it would be best to put the unit in line with the bypass and the plumbing. You use the two O-rings on the posts, and we'll want to reinsert the turbine into the out port onto the axle pin. You'll want to spin it to make sure it does spin freely in there. And then line the unit up with the bypass. As you're sliding the bypass back onto the valve assembly, you should feel a pop or maybe even hear a pop. That'll indicate that the O-rings and everything are engaged and it's in the proper location.
Yeah.
The last thing to assemble will be the drain in cap. Again, you'll want to put your O-ring in place. We do recommend on all the O-rings some sort of lubricant that'll help prevent any pinching while reinstalling. Initially, when reassembling the valve components, don't over tighten any of the screws until all the screws are in place. Then we'll go back and snug them down on the final assembly. The last two screws would be the two on the drive-in cap side, where you go over the drive motor. the screws don't line up completely, you may have to go back and loosen some of the other screws. Once you get all 6 screws in, then you can go back and snug them down. Again, they don't have to be over tightened, just a good snug fit is all that's required.
Go ahead.
Now we should have the valve all assembled, everything snug down and tight. We'll want to put the computer board back in place. Your computer board may look a little different, but that really doesn't matter. Plug in the motor wire, the sensor wire, and then connect power back to the computer board. There's a good chance your computer board will say going home or start a regeneration. That's perfectly fine. Because we have not disengaged the bypass, no water will flow through, so we don't have to worry about disturbing the new carbon bed or anything. Once the unit finishes its regeneration or finds home, it'll go back to the service or home position. Depending on your board, it may display different things. Typically gallons remaining will be displayed. At this point, we can disengage the bypass, but we'll want to do this very slowly. You'll turn the bypass knob clockwise. Because our main water supply is on, you should hear water starting to go into the unit. You'll want to take a very long time and let the water slowly fill the tank. This way the new carbon that's in there won't get disturbed and potentially get up into the valve or clog your plumbing. Once the bypass is fully open, the tank should fill completely with carbon or with water to soak into the carbon bed. We typically recommend that at this point you engage the bypass again, shutting the water off to the unit but not to your home, and letting the carbon bed soak for about 24 hours before putting it into a full service position.